Hey guys, we're the Jersey Comic Crew, and on today's video, we're going to do a full breakdown, recap, Easter egg video for you on The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, The Passenger. Stay tuned to find out all the things that you might have missed and learn a little bit more about the Star Wars universe.
Hey guys, we're here for exactly what Rob said. We were talking Mandalorian. I'm in a new studio. This looks awesome. We're excited to be here. I actually have a chair. I'm not on a casting couch anymore. Take that as you will. And we are talking The Passenger Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2. Might be a bigger episode than we all thought. So let's all sit back and get ready for Rob's recaps as he delves us into the recap world of The Mandalorian as told to you by our very own Rob Moran. Take away, Rob.
I like this. I got a segment named after me.
It's like, I felt like one of those proctors at like a weird town hall meeting trying to hype crowds up.
All right, we're hyping him. Everybody clap for him. And then
Who
only
wants
half
to
the
talk
audience
about
claps.
parking spaces?
Well, guys, like we just said, we're going to do a quick recap of the episode, tell you the major bullet points of what happened here. Spoilers are ahead. But before we do that, somebody wants to say hi to you guys. Oh, what's this?
Oh.
It's the child. That is right. The child wants to say hi to you.
Look at that.
My fiance just got me that as a gift, and I wanted to share that with the world that the child was here.
That's awesome. I like that gift. That's a good gift.
It's a good gift.
I know I sound like a Jewish grandmother, but that's a very good gift. I'm so happy she got it for you.
Oh, Bubba, thank you, Bubba.
The bubble.
All right, so we're going to pick up right where you left off. That Mando and Baby Yoda are on their speeder bike. They're still on a desert planet. They're driving away. They get ambushed by, a group of scavengers looking for Baby Yoda's bounty, right? So Mando takes them all out except one. One looks like has the upper hand, has Baby Yoda, has a knife to the baby's throat. I'm sitting in panic. You're sitting in panic. The Mando gives him the backpack, the jetpack, says, "Hey, here, take this, and we're good." Uses the jetpack, takes out the other scavenger. It's a great beginning, opening to this world, just to show us that Mando is always one step ahead, even when you think he is not. So the Mando and the child are now on foot, going back to Mos Eisley to meet up with Pelimoto, the guy with the girl with the frizzy hair. Looks like she's from Alien. She's got a
kind of, yeah,
right.
She kind of looks like Sigourney Weaver in Alien, yeah.
The only reason I'm bringing that up is because my friend brought up an Alien reference the other day, and we had to look up what she looked like in that movie. And I was like, oh,
she kind of does, yeah. Actually, now you think about it, Pelimoto kind of has that hair.
So Pelimoto's playing a card game with an alien creature, Dr. Mandible, which is a great name.
Great name.
And was able to find more information of where other Mandalorians might be. It turns out her source of information is this frog lady. She needs a favor, and then she'll be able to share the information of where the other Mandalorians are. The favor that she needs is, if you guys are familiar with the episode, she needs to carry her eggs, the last of her lineage, to another planet so her husband can fertilize them. And he said, no problem, we'll jump in light speed. Unfortunately for Mando, he has to go into slow, regular speed. He can't go to light speed, otherwise the babies will get destroyed.
Subspace. There's always a loophole.
Exactly, right? So as they're flying into space, they're doing their little journey. We see Baby Yoda does what Baby Yoda does. He's scampering around and finds the eggs and decides to eat a couple of them because they look like a tasty midnight snack.
He's just downing them.
He's
like donut holes, like just It's like the Homer Simpson meme where he's just pushing the donuts into his mouth without chewing.
He's kind of committing genocide here, right? He's killing off the last.
He's literally causing a race to go extinct.
And Mando's like, whoa, no, don't do that. Don't do that again. He's like, don't do it. He's not really like,
don't do the hand thing.
No hand thing in the mouth, right? Nothing in the mouth. So as they're flying, two fighter pilots, right? Are they Y-Wings or X-Wings, Chris?
X-Wings. Two X-Wing
The two X-Wings, they were pulling him over, kind of like a police stop for a random spot. His transponder isn't on because he's wanted from season 1 when he broke those people out of jail. He's still wanted for that. So he has the transponder off. He tries to talk his way essentially out of a parking ticket, right? He's trying to talk his way out of a ticket. He does the, "May the force be with you," and they're like, "Oh, we're also with you." And he thinks he's got away with it. He doesn't. They want more information. He decides to try to escape, goes down to the ice planet. Unfortunately, they crash. The Razor Crest, his ship, is destroyed. There's holes in the ship. He decides the best course of action is just to hold out. He says the deal is off. We got to just focus on survival. The frog lady and him have a language barrier. They can't talk to each other. Sorry, the lizard lady. The lizard lady.
No, frog lady, yeah.
Frog, lizard, yeah, alien. You guys know what I'm talking about here.
They call her Frog Lady in the show like she has no name.
Yeah. She then hijacks and, jerry rigs a communication device through the old robot that is on the ship to communicate with him. Says, hey, I thought Mandalorians were people of the word. You have to get this done. These are the last of my lineage. We have to move forward. Mando's like, all right, we're going to have to do what we have to do to try to get this solved. So while the Mandalorian is fixing the ship on the outside, he's fixing up as much as he can. Baby Yoda comes out there, says, it's pretty much motioning that the frog lady ran away. The frog lady just, I don't know why, but she decided it's a good time to take a bubble bath. She goes out, finds a hot spring. She's sitting there, lets all of her eggs just fly around and just chill there.
Just floating.
Right? And she's like, I'm just taking a bath because that's what we do. Mando's like, no, we gotta go. He's scooping up eggs, throwing them in the things. And Baby Yoda tried to eat another one. Mando said, stop it. No, Baby Yoda.
Do it.
Baby Yoda's like, fine, I'll go do what I want. He goes, sees other eggs on the floor, sees like a spider egg, breaks one, squishes it, then tension starts to rise because the camera widens.
We've seen this movie before.
Yeah, we've seen this movie before. Many, many eggs. We're like, okay, if there's many eggs, there must be a mother, right? Mm-hmm. The eggs all start hatching. There's little spiders, medium spiders, they're all swarming him. And then we see the big mama coming out, chasing the Mandalorian. He went from a bubble bath to a horror movie in like 2 seconds. He's running.
Very awkward bubble bath.
Right? He's running with the frog lady, with Baby Yoda. They're running, trying to get this. He's using a flamethrower, everything he can to stop it. The ship gets overrun with spiders. There's spider webs everywhere. Everything looks bleak. It looks like Mando's going to die.
One lands on Baby Yoda's head.
Yes, and thankfully Mando slaps it away. He's like, nope.
Hey-ya.
Don't touch my baby. He might have eaten one of your brothers and sisters, but don't hit him. And I'm like, all right, there has to be some kind of trick. What is he going to do? And like, he locked himself in the hole. The hole starts to break. Everything's coming around him. And thankfully, the X-Wings, the pilots in the X-Wings come back and start to destroy and shoot the spiders and killing the Big Mother, which is the biggest help of all. And Mando and the X-Wing pilots start talking to each other. They said, technically, we should, arrest you. But they read the report and realized that they might have escaped. Well, one escape, but he captured 3 other people. And, they try to prevent one murder. So, like, they can see he's kind of a good guy. So they let him off with a warning and just left. They didn't help him with the ship, even though Mando tried to get that. They were like, us not arresting you is a favor enough, and we just saved your life. So
but these are trying times. Yep.
So they left. So eventually Mando sets everything up, gets his rinky-dink ship together to fly away. And the show pretty much ends with him flying to the next planet where he needs to deliver the Frog Lady. And that, guys, is your Rob's recaps of Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, The Passenger, the Uber Ride from Hell.
Yeah, literally, it's the Uber ride from hell. I just wanted my babies to get across, and we got attacked by spiders. He was eating my kids. This kid was eating my kids.
And I think she knew that Baby Yoda was eating them because she was holding on to them really tight. And at the end scene, you see Baby Yoda pop one last one in his mouth.
Yeah, like donut holes, just boom. That was awesome. And so now we have a bunch of Easter eggs in this episode. This may be an episode where, like me and Rob, is very fillerish, right? It's kind of like this, almost like a one-stop shop, but it does have a lot going on in the background.
It seems like, before you get to the Easter eggs, like, I just want to address your point to that and to people watching at home. Like, it's definitely felt like a fillery episode, like you said. It's a fun time. We get to see them doing something else, but me knowing the show, like, this is a setup. Like, even in comic books, some arcs are a setup arc to the next thing. So this is the setup to the next thing, and it was still fun to see. And we got a cool pop from it, Baby Yoda eating eggs, which image here.
Absolutely. Another pop now.
Yes.
Let's
happening in the background?
No pun intended. Let's break open some more eggs. And so the first one is right in the beginning. Is the tripwire. So
Okay.
when Mando and Baby Yoda are riding through Tatooine, going back to Mos Eisley, they get tripwired up, and that's a callback to Return of the Jedi in Episode 6, how the Ewoks kind of start taking down different Imperial cruisers, like
Okay.
the Chicken Walker. They take it down with a tripwire. Some of the other ships, those guys get taken down the same way. So that's a little just a callback right there.
I like that.
Number two is the Mos Eisley Cantina. Mando actually walks into the Mos Eisley Cantina, which we obviously see
Yeah.
in A New Hope, where Luke and Obi-Wan, old Ben Kenobi, go to look for transport to get to Alderaan in the beginning of Star Wars.
That's where we see Pelimoto and Dr. Mandible playing that card game, right?
Yes, they're playing Sabacc, which
Okay.
is also an Easter egg, because that's a very famous card game in the Star Wars universe. It's also how Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian. They were playing that card game.
Oh, we saw that in Solo. That's the game they were
We
playing.
saw that in Solo. Yep. And we
Okay,
hear
cool.
about it, in the old movies of like, yeah, I won it in a card game. How's my ship holding up? That's also another fallback. Also, Dr. Mandible, who is the ant-like creature known as a Killick, which was originally in the Expanded Universe novels. And Peyton Reed, who came in to direct, was also the director of Ant-Man.
Oh.
So hilarious, but also kind of maybe a little hint there. He threw in.
What if
we see at the end of Ant-Man that giant ant playing drums and everything. Yeah.
What if that's the same person?
Maybe,
what if that's the same ant? And
it's from the ant race
away.
of Killicks.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Here's one thing with Star Wars. So the quick sidetrack, very short. Star Wars is a story long ago in a galaxy far, far away. So technically, it can't be because it happened in the past, right? Maybe.
It's a galaxy far away, yeah, a long time ago, but somehow in the future is always the joke that's made.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? But the Dr. Mandible is also a character. If you watch Episode 4, there's a huge pan through the Mos Eisley Cantina when Luke walks in, and Dr. Mandible is one of the people at the bar getting a drink. So he's been around since Episode 4.
Okay.
As well as when you pan through, you also see the Frog Lady at one of the far points, I believe, where Dr. Mandible was sitting in Episode 4.
Okay.
So the next Easter egg is there is a very funny kind of exchange between Dr. Mandible, who you can't understand, and Pelimoto when she wins Sabacc, and she goes, oh, I'm not some Rhodian, some scorched Rhodian, referring to her and Mando now going to eat that piece of meat he took from the crate dragon.
Okay.
And that reference is to Greedo, who got charred by Han Solo in Episode 4 when he shoots Greedo in the head. Rhodians that's the species.
Greedo's a Rhodian.
Yes. And also, if you look closely, I believe you can see the same Han Solo scorch mark of when he shoots Greedo in the head. That's still in that booth where Pelimoto and Dr. Mandible were sitting. We get to the scene, like I just kind of forementioned, they were eating. There was actually a Galaxy's Edge Easter egg in this episode, which is very odd too, because Galaxy's Edge is the Disney Parks version of Star Wars, right? And for a lot of people, oh, Galaxy's Edge is somehow now canon. It's somehow in this Star Wars universe as real life. And it's a very simple thing. When they're cooking the meat on the spigot, it's being used by this. They're cooking it with basically a broken down pod racer engine. And there's a place in Galaxy's Edge where you can go get meat that's basically cooked with the same way, with a pod racer engine. It is like a rotisserie with a pod racer engine.
So that's a subtle nod to what you can experience at Galaxy's Edge in the theme parks. That's cool.
Absolutely. So that was kind of cool, a little touch there from something that's completely different.
Yeah.
There's obviously Mando gets the Frog Lady. They're on the ship. He can't understand her. He asks her, do you speak this? And he also mentions Huttese, which is Huttese, which is also the language of Jabba the Hutt and all the Hutts that used to run Tatooine and all the other kind of far outer rim sectors, as well as his cousin Zero the Hutt, who was this underground gangster that lived in Coruscant that was running one of the levels there.
What about Jabba the Hutt's cousin, Pizza the Hutt? I heard he died. He ate himself.
I heard he died and started a new chain of, so he might still be around somewhere.
Spaceballs reference, people. There we go.
Very good. Love Spaceballs.
Thank you.
Obviously, when we get to the X-Wings, Dave Filoni's back as one of the fighter pilots.
I thought that was him. He looked...
Yes.
I couldn't place it. I was like, that one person looks super familiar.
Yep, it's Dave Filoni again, back as one of the fighter pilots,
That's
which
awesome.
is just awesome. They also mentioned that when they pull Mando over, per se, in like their Grand Theft Auto scene,
Yeah.
they before he takes off, we represent the New Republic. That is a nod to the
Mm.
sequel series because that is what the First Order takes down. The New Republic. That's General
Oh,
Leia.
okay.
That's Poe Dameron. They represent the New Republic. So that's what that means. And also the funny kind of interaction where Mando's trying to get out of, like you said earlier, his parking ticket,
Yeah.
where they say, "May the Force be with you."
And
Mando
also
says,
with you.
"And also with you," which I don't think has ever been said in a movie
No.
or TV show. It's always kind of been joked with fans as like almost like the religious response, like in Catholicism, right?
Yeah, like whenever you heard "May the Force be with you," instinctively you're like, and also with like you, like if you went
Lift
to
up your
like
hearts, lift them up to the Lord. Yeah,
right, like lift him up to Obi-Wan, like you
yeah,
just you hear
lift them up to
that.
the Yodas. Like it's. And I think that's hilarious in a bunch of ways because it's kind of like a fan joke response that they actually put in canon now as
Yes.
like an awkward response that everyone kind of does. So that was really cool. Um, Obviously, the pilots flagged the Razor Crest, as Rob mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
for being a part of the prison escape in season one. And they also mentioned, oh my God, you were part of the cause of like Lieutenant Davin dying. He was the pilot in that prison episode who died, who was played by Matt Lanter, who plays
Okay.
Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars. So they also reference
Oh.
him. So I guess they were either friends, which makes sense because Dave Filoni would have hired him to play Anakin in that
Yeah.
series because he created it. Rob also mentioned earlier that the Frog Lady, in order to communicate with Mando, used Zero the droid head's
Mm-hmm.
severed head, which Mando during the prison episode again shot and took him out because he was going after Baby Yoda,
Yep.
and so we know the head's there. And the spiders obviously was the biggest part of the episode, right? The big action scene with the spiders, the number one, right? Aliens reference
Yeah, like
is
you saw
down.
that completely, like the way they came out of the eggs. I was like, oh, it's
Yep.
just like the aliens before they
Oh,
attached to a
still,
host.
the face suckers still get me every time.
Mm.
But yeah, the aliens reference, as well as I threw this one in on my own because I found this a little more once they started chasing them. Very reminiscent of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when they're in the dark forest and the spiders are going after them and they jump in the flying car to get away.
Okay.
It's a lot of spiders, a lot of different size spiders, so that was very reminiscent of that as well.
Yeah.
And the spiders, not confirmed, but they reminded me of the Krinka from Star Wars Rebels,
What's the
which are
Krinka?
so the Krinka are these like race of alien spiders. It's in Star Wars Rebels. They're in canon. They're basically controlled by the Force, so they're kind of like Force sensitive spiders
Oh.
that Ezra kind of figures out and Kanan figure out like because you can't shoot them with the blaster. They have these hard like shell hides that are blaster and lightsaber resistant.
Okay.
So they kind of were able to communicate with them through the Force to kind of calm them and so they wouldn't get attacked. So they kind of look like that.
Oh.
Not completely sure if they're the same. And yeah, that is all the Easter eggs that I found personally
Awesome.
from episode 2.
So now stands the part. Where do we think it's gonna happen next with the series? Um, obviously we're still waiting to see Bo-Katan. We're waiting to see what
Oh
happens with
man,
the development with that, with the lightsaber. Mando fighting other, possibly Jedi, possibly other races of the bit. Who is
he
that?
tries that. He tries that every time.
Who
Oh,
is
it's
that?
it's Baby Yoda. He tries to untwist the mic every time. It's like a plaything.
Oh, okay.
No, continue.
Okay, all right. You saw that, right? He moved on his own. Demon doll. Anyway, we want to hear your speculations for the next episode and what your hopes are for the rest of this season. I don't think we're going to get too many more episodes like this. It's definitely the calm before the storm, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, do you have any last thoughts before we head on home?
Yeah, I do have one, and a lot of people online and a lot of people have asked me personally, oh, like if there's only 8 episodes, why are they wasting it on an episode like this, or what is the purpose of,
Oh, okay.
this main filler course episode? And I would say to this one, again, they could do whatever the hell they want, but
True.
number two is this: I don't find the filler episodes for Mandalorian to be quite as similar to regular 22 to 24 episode
Mm-hmm.
seasons like Flash or Arrow, where those filler episodes are like, oh my god.
Like it could be cut and like it doesn't affect the story at all.
You could cut 19 episodes out of those 22 and they don't matter. And for me personally, this is more of the personal journey filler where Mando, and meaning Jin Darn himself, is very specifically mindset has been built one way ever since he was saved by Mandalorians.
Yep.
Basically, that's what I want to be. Whatever that is in that form, I don't care about anything else. That's what I want to be because I don't ever want to be afraid again in that Clone Wars Siege flashback we saw. And I think it is really important to also get the aspect of his character growth, right? Whether it's the father-son dynamic with Baby Yoda, whether it's, maybe caring for strangers and showing empathy, where in the beginning we saw him as this very strict, just here's, give me another job. We're now seeing him more as like the human. He's gaining more aspects. His mind and his world is opening up, and I think that's very important.
One thing that people should keep in the back of their mind, I guess, with bounty hunters in general, like when you do this kind of, like, say, the dark business in the world, right? You need contacts, right? You need allies that people don't necessarily know that right? So we saw that in season 1 with the little man who died, who was dealing with the big fish piranha walking man thing, right? The mughorn.
The Mudhorn and the Blurgs.
The Blurgs, that's what they were, the Blurgs, right?
Blurg.
And this now he has the new ally with the Frog Lady, which I'm sure is going to come into play with the next episode, rest of the season. So aside from him doing his journey, this is essentially him building his book of contacts, if you will. It's people that he could go to in times of need or where he needs to hide out in certain places, so that way he could continue to operate. So I think looking at this episode and saying it's a filler, why waste it, is the wrong attitude to have, the wrong mindset. But
absolutely.
With that, guys, this wraps up our episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, recap, Easter egg breakdown. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode, if you want more like this, and especially what you think is going to happen in the rest of the season.
And guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Really helps the channel a lot. As you can see already, it's helped. And if you're new, definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss any more episodes breaking down all the Easter eggs, all the episode spoilerific stuff from Mandalorian and other things as well. And thank you so much. We will see you next time.
Before you go, on the screen, you're going to see some videos of other content you might like from us and our logo. Make sure you hit that subscribe if you already haven't. We'll see you next time.